Hello everyone, welcome back again. So in this class we will learn how to create a sample forms using HTML. So I have already a complete HTML forms, and then I've kept this form inside a table for alignments. So it is not mandatory. So without the table also we can still create a table. So first of all, a form they are used when you want the user to enter some values, or when you want to accept a value from the users. We use forms. So forms are basically used in those websites where different information have to be collected from the users, or different registrations, so that the user can submit different data, or else when the user have to look into a particular website, this type of forms can be used. So all of these are some of the basic input fields. So we will try to learn step by step how to create different form fields using HTML. So and typical websites along with this HTML forms, like server side scripting language like PHP, and then database, those type of computer languages are used to accept values and then store those values, so that the user can be able to retrieve, or even the admin can retrieve and use those different data on a websites. So using HTML, we will now try to create this HTML forms, which will look something like this. Okay, so before creating any HTML forms, it is very important to identify what type of input type you are going to use, or what type of input type you want to use, or what type of input type you should use to accept the value from the users. So out here, all of these are different input types, and then you have to identify what type of input type is or will be used for a particular field. Okay, so first thing what we have is first name. After that we have some text box to enter data by the users. So this type of field, they are called text fields, so that after clicking the user can start writing. So this is a text field. After that, out here we have one hints and all, and their first name, so that when the user clicks it and start writings, it will go off. So those things are called as a placeholder. So inside the place text box, if there are some hints like this, those are called as a placeholder. So first name, last name, and then father's name, all these three are text fields where the user have to enter some characters. So these are called as a text box or text field. Input type is text. Alright, after that we have date of birth. After that we have a calendar here. So basically date of birth is a date. So this type of field, these are called as an input type is date. Okay, after the input type date, out here we have gender, male or else a female. So we have to choose a given option from two options. So we have to choose either one. This type of input type is called as a radio button. So this is a radio button. After that we have a phone number. So inside this phone number we can enter only numbers, we cannot enter characters. So this type of input type are called as a number. Input type is number. So like when you want to accept only number from the users, we can use an input type as a number. After that we have education qualification. After we have 10 bars, 12 bars, graduate. So out here the user will be able to select multiple options from a given list of options. So this type of input type, they are called as a checkbox. Alright, checkboxes where the user can have a multiple, can choose a multiple options. After that we have a state. So when the user clicks it, a list will come down. So this type of input is called as a Dropdown menu or Dropdown list. Okay, so Dropdown menu. After that we have a comment. After we have a one large text box here, similar to text box, so the user can write a long sentences or a paragraph. So this type of input type is called as a text area. Okay, after that we have a password. So inside this password, the input type is password, so that when the user clicks it, it will be, the output will be in total form like this. It will be encrypted this way. So input type is password, and then after that we have a register and then a login. So this is one is submit button and then another one is a button. So we can use any one, either a submit button or just simply a button. So out here in these examples I have given just like a first name, last name, father's name. It does not mean that for father's name, last name, and then father's name, all these things we have to enter input type as a text input type as a text. For any data, like if you want to accept for like what is your hobby, something like that, yeah, we can use a text box also. So the thing is that we have to identify what type of input type should we use for a particular data to be accepted from the users. So out here, instead of date of birth, for example, like when the year of graduation, I mean that date, month, and then year of graduation, or is like commencement of an online exams, commencement of an online classes, like that. All those types we can use as a date also. After that, like for gender, we have two options to be choose from, so we can use this type of radio buttons in true or false also, where the user have to choose only one options. And then in a phone number we can use like house number, or else like some kind of unique numbers, or any numbers where you want to accept from the users. After that, education qualification, we instead of this 10 pass, 12 pass or education qualification, we can use it in some other text fields also, some form fields also. After that, instead of state, you can use for a country, or else like select course, something like that. So this type of all these different input types can be used multiple number of times in any given forms. After that, we just have to identify what type of input type should be used for a particular text, I mean particular form fields. Okay, so that this the introduction to our forms. Now what we have to do is we will try to create in a notepad, something which will look something like this. Okay, so let's go to notepad and then let's start it. So I already have a basic structure of HTML. So now we shall try to create our HTML forms. Okay, so out here I already have a heading 1 here. Now let's create two heading fields. After, let's try all align is equal to center. After, let's write all fields are mandatory. Okay, after that, let's save this one. So I will be saving inside my HTML5 folder. After that, I will name it as a form.html. So alright, so let's check it out inside our browser. Okay, we have a main heading online registration form. After that, all fields are mandatory, just what we have created just now. So like we have learned in our previous classes, if you want to add a background color or background image, or if you want to change all those font colors, you can still create that one. Now let us learn how to create this placeholder, and then after that a text field. Okay, So we start with the form. The first thing what we have to do is we have to start with a form. After that, when we are going doing it with a different server-side scripting language, and or else when you have to insert different data from an HTML form inside the database, we have to give a name to your form. Alright, so like you can give any name to your form, say like my form. So for now, let us just give it like this. The HTML tag to create a form is form. After that, let's give a name as a my form. Okay, after that, let's this is online registration form, so let's write first name. Okay, now let's save it, go back to our browser and then refresh it. So we already have first name here. After we have to create a text box, something like this. So let's go here. After that, input type is text. Okay, let's close it like this. Okay, so we already have a first name, input type is text. We have already closed that type. Now let's go back and then refresh it. So we have here. Now if you want this text box to be after the first name, we just have to add, let's say, one line break, right? If you want, so it will be below here. Okay, after that, let's try to add a placeholder like this as a hint inside this one. So let's go back here. After that, here we have to write placeholder. Everything is joined. Alright, placeholder is equal to inside double quotation. Let's write enter first name. Let's save it. After that, let's check it inside our browser. So that is a placeholder. So this is how we can create a input type text, so that the user will be able to insert the text here or some data. Okay, after the first name, the last name, and then father's name, TOTR, the input type is same. So you can practice that also. Let's just write last name. After that, enter last name. Okay, let's save it and then refresh it. Okay, last name. So this should be below, right? So let's give one line break here so that this one will come down. So now we have first name, last name. Now let's try to create this date of birth. Alright, so to create that input type as a date, let's give one PR. After that, date of birth. So input type is INPUT, input type is date. Okay, so let's close it, let's save it. After that, when we go and then refresh it, input type date, we will get a small calendar here. So out here, if you want to add a minimum and then maximum, we can still add it. Minimum means how much the value should be, or maximum means how big it will be. So minimum, it will be like, let's say 01 01 2020, right? Or else like we can add maximum as 01 01 2000. So we can set this minimum and maximum from date also. So that's how we can create an input type text, that. Now let us try to create this radio button. So to create a radio button, let's go here. After that, let's give one PR. After that, gender. So for gender we have to choose only one option. So input type is equal to radio. After that we have to give a name. Name is equal to, let's say, sex. Alright, after that, let's say male. So let's save it, go back and refresh it. So we have male. Now we have to create for female. So for female also, let's create one input type is equal to radio. After that we have to give a name. After that, its name should be Sam. So let's do it like that. Let's give one PR. Okay, so let's go back, refresh it, so we can choose either one. So make sure that you give the same name. For example, if I give a different name here, when we go to our browser and then refresh it, the user will be able to choose both options. So make sure that this is the name for that each field is same, so that the user will be able to select only one from the given options. Okay, now after the radio button, let's try to create a phone number. So inside this, let's give contact number. So inside this contact number, the input type should be, since it is only a number, input type should be number, so that the user will be able to enter only a phone number. So you can give a placeholder also, enter phone number. So if you want to give a placeholder, you can add that one also. Let's go back and then refresh it, contact number. After that, the user will be able to insert all the numbers here. So if you want to accept only numbers, input type is number. Okay, from after that input type number, let us try to create these checkboxes. Okay, so to create the checkboxes, we can allow the user to select multiple options from given options. So same like let's write qualifications. After that, for checkboxes, input type is checkboxes. Alright, after that, name is equal to, let's give then. After that, you can give a value also. Value is equal to then plus, like this, then bus. Okay, so let's go here. After that, refresh it. So we have 10 bus here. After that, we just have to continue the same for a different pass, like 12 pass, graduate, and so on. So we can go on to add more. You can give any name and then any value out here. So instead of let's give graduate 12 pass. Okay, let's save it. So it will go on how many checkboxes you want to create it. You can go on. If you want to create step by step, add some line break. That's all. Okay, after creating the checkboxes, let us try to create the next field. The next field what we have is a drop down menu. Okay, so to create let's say country. Okay, so inside this country, to create a drop down menu, input type is the first thing what we have to do is select. After that, under that select, we have to create those values. Option value is equal to integer. Okay, right, so we have India. After that, we just have to go on adding these option values. India, like it will go on. So like Pakistan. After that, let's close the select. Alright, let's save it, check it. So that is how we can create a drop down menu. Okay, after creating the drop down menu, let us try to create this text area. Okay, so to create the text area, input type is write something. Okay, let's do it like this, write something to us. Okay, after that, input type is we just have to write text area. After that, only difference out here is we have to specify the column span and then row span. So let's say 20, so it will go by 20 columns. After that, row span is equal to, let's say, like 7. So it will take 20 columns and then 7 rows. After that, if you want to give a placeholder, we can add here also. Placeholder is equal to right here. Okay, let's placeholder is equal. Okay, so that's how we can create them. Instead of this, let's go out and then let's close it here. Okay, so to create a text area, we just have to write text area. After we have to specify the column span and then row span. So now we have our text box here, I mean the text area here. Now we shall create password field. So to create a password field, input type is password. After that, if you want to give a placeholder again, you can still give it. Placeholder is equal to password. Okay, so out here inside this password, whatever the character we have entered, it will be encrypted that way. Okay, right after password, let us try to add a submit button, or else a submit, or else in the symbol button. Okay, so out here, input type is equal to submit, value is equal to, let's give register. Okay, you can use this one. Let's go back to browser. After that, when we write, we have given the value as register, so we have a submit button. After that, what text written inside is register. Okay, after that, let's go here. After that, instead of the submit button, if you want to use a button, input type is equal to button. After that, value is equal to, let's say, login. Okay, so see, we can still use a button or else a submit button. So that is how we can create sample forms here. Now if you want to arrange it like this without any CSS, using only a table, let us try. So the form starts from here, so let us try to keep this one inside a table. Okay, table border is equal to, let's say, 2. After that, pg color is equal to, let's say, orange. Table row, table data. Let's save it. Let's come down here. Let's close our table here. After that, before that one, once you are done with the form, you can close the form. After that, you can close table row. After that, table data. So this is just for a basic alignment. So let's align it center. Let's go up. Table align is equal to the center. Okay, so that is how we can create a sample table. Now if you want to keep these things inside the different table row and table data, we can still go ahead. So this is how we can create a form. So the first and then foremost important thing is that we have to identify what type of input type we should use for each of these different fields. So that's the end of our class for this. See you in the next class. Thank you.